The clock on the mantel ticked louder than it ever should have, each second pounding through my skull like a drumbeat. I sat on the couch, eyes locked on the front door, its chipped green paint staring back at me in mocking stillness. My phone rested face down on the coffee table, silent for exactly 22 hours and 17 minutes since Hila's last text. Be home soon. No call, no follow-up, no reason. Just those 3 words, seared into my vision like a burn mark. Beside me, a mug of coffee sat cold and untouched, the rim chipped, a half-eaten bagel stiff beside it. The cream cheese had hardened, much like my thoughts. Stale, thick, wrong. The air still carried the faint trace of her lavender shampoo, lingering like a ghost that refused to leave. I'd spent the night pacing, wearing the floor thin beneath my feet. Where was she? Leah. With her quick laughter and those eyes that could undo me with a single glance, she'd simply vanished. No fight, no warning. Just gone. My mind looped through possibilities. An accident, a robbery, an illness. But darker thoughts slithered in too, creeping past my defenses. What if she wasn't hurt? What if she chose to disappear? I checked my phone again. Nothing. Her friends hadn't heard from her either. Their responses were short, uneasy. Haven't seen her since yesterday morning. Claire had texted. She seemed fine. Fine. The word gnawed at me. Leah had left for work at 7, like always. But when I called her office, they said she'd phoned in sick. Sick? The word stung. A small lie, sharp and splintered beneath my skin. At 9:14 a.m., the key turned in the lock. My heart jumped, relief and dread colliding all at once. The door opened, and there she was, Leah, alive, unhurt, her auburn hair tangled, blouse wrinkled, but her eyes, usually warm as honey, were distant, darting away from mine. "Hey," she said softly, her voice thin, like she was testing the air. "Where were you?" My voice came out harsher than I intended, raw from a sleepless night. I stood up, hands trembling, aching to hold her but frozen by the gap between us. She dropped her purse onto the counter. The sound clattered too loud in the quiet. I got caught up. I'm sorry. Her fingers toyed with her sleeve, a nervous habit I hadn't seen in years. I didn't mean to worry you. Caught up. I stepped closer, the floor groaning beneath my weight. You didn't call, Leah. You didn't answer. I thought. My throat tightened. I thought you were dead. Her lips parted, but no words came. She turned away, her gaze fixed on the window where sunlight leaked through the blinds. I'm fine, she said at last, but the word rang hollow, empty of meaning. Fine. I laughed, brittle and jagged. You called in sick. You didn't tell me. You vanished for a whole day, and now you act like nothing happened. My chest burned, anger rising through the ache. Where were you, Leah? Really? She flinched, shoulders curling in. I needed space, okay? I just needed to think. Her voice trembled, guilt and defiance tangled together. She turned to the sink, filling a glass of water, her back forming a barrier between us. Space. I echoed, following her. My voice climbed despite myself. We've been together 5 years. You don't just disappear for space. Tell me the truth. My pulse hammered. Every beat a question I wasn't ready to hear answered. She set the glass down hard, water spilling over the rim. It's not what you think, she said quickly, her tone desperate. I was with a friend. We talked, lost track of time, that's all. A friend? The word tasted sour. Which friend, Leah? Claire hasn't seen you. Jess hasn't either. Who was it? My hands clenched at my sides, nails digging into my palms. I wanted to believe her, to hold on to the version of us that still made sense, but her eyes wouldn't meet mine. The silence between us stretched thin and tense. Does it matter? She whispered, barely audible. I'm here now. It matters, I said, my voice shaking. It matters because you're lying. The room felt smaller then, walls closing in, air heavy with things unsaid. I noticed her blouse again, wrinkled, yes, but also missing a button like she'd thrown it on in a rush. And there was a scent on her, not lavender this time, but something sharper. Cedarwood. Not hers. Not mine. Her face went pale, lips quivering. I didn't mean for this to happen, she murmured. It was a mistake. A stupid, awful mistake. The words hit like a blow. My stomach dropped. The world tilted. I gripped the counter to keep from falling. A mistake? My voice came out hollow. What kind of mistake, Leah? Her eyes welled with tears, but this time she didn't look away. I was with someone, she said, her voice breaking. It wasn't planned. It just happened. The confession hung in the air, sharp and heavy, slicing through the life we'd built. I wanted to shout, to demand every name, every detail, but I couldn't. My body felt empty. My mind stuck on the image of her with someone else. Someone who wasn't me. Who? The word scraped from my throat, barely sound. She hesitated, swallowing hard. It was Mark, from work. We were talking and I don't know how it happened. I'm so sorry, Ben. Mark, her co-worker, the one with the easy grin in late-night meetings. I'd met him once, shook his hand, even laughed at his jokes. Now his name burned like a blade in my chest. You slept with him, I said. It wasn't a question. The truth was in her silence, in the way her hands trembled as she wiped at her tears. I didn't mean to hurt you, she whispered, stepping toward me. I moved back, the distance between us a canyon now. It was one time, she said quickly. I swear it won't happen again. One time, I repeated, laughing, the sound brittle, broken. You disappeared, Leah. You lied. You let me sit here all night, thinking you were dead while you were. I couldn't finish. The words caught in my throat. My eyes burned, but I refused to cry. Not yet. I love you, she said, her voice small, pleading. I still want us. I looked at her then, really looked, and saw a stranger, the woman I'd imagined building a life with, a home, a family, a future, was gone. In her place stood someone capable of betraying me and calling a mistake. The clock ticked on, cold and indifferent, as everything we built began to crumble around us. Then why? I said finally, my voice steady, frozen, do I feel like I'm the one who's gone? She said nothing, and in that silence, I knew she might have come back, but she wasn't mine anymore.